Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Intende and we are going to be reacting to why movie stars don't exist anymore.
Remember when Leonardo DiCaprio was everywhere? Like, actually everywhere. Posters on bedroom walls, magazine covers at every checkout counter, people losing their minds over every new movie he made.
Here in London, Prince Charles is boarding Titanic at the film's gala royal premiere.
I always get nervous about premiere time. I guess this is an extra amount since I'm meeting royalty today.
But that was the late 90s and early 2000s, when it felt like the whole world was united through their obsession over a handful of people who...
I mean, these people are still famous now, like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and then Tom Hanks. They're all still famous now, but yeah, I think it has changed.
seem larger than life. Good luck finding a young actor
Also, I love how short Tom Cruise is. Did you see how short Tom Cruise is?
with even half that pool in 2026. Sure, we've got Timothée Chalamet, and he's definitely talented and a lot of people do like him.
Call me by your name, Timothy!
But nobody's cutting out his
Lisan Al Gaib! Yeah, it's not like Leonardo DiCaprio.
pictures from magazines and storing them in sacred binders, partly because magazines barely exist anymore, but mostly because the entire concept of movie stardom has fundamentally changed. At some point between 2008 and now, Hollywood figured out something that changed everything. They realized they didn't need stars anymore. They needed characters. In the 90s and early 2000s, you went to see the Tom Cruise movie, or the Will Smith movie, or the Julia Roberts movie. The star was the draw. Studios would pay these people tens of millions just to show up because their name on the poster meant guaranteed ticket sales. They had so much power they could approve scripts, choose to direct the movie themselves, and basically run the whole show, because they knew audiences showed up to see them. But nowadays you go see Superman, you go see Avatar, you're probably going to see the new Spider-Man movie when it drops in July. And it wouldn't have mattered if Tom Holland or any other actor played him. We've had more than 8 different actors playing Batman, and could possibly have 2 live-action versions of him at the same time, which they can do because nobody is there for the actor.
No, I am. Yeah, I got an idea.
After the 2008 financial
Yeah, it is interesting that, people don't see a Robert Downey Jr. movie, they go to see Iron Man. You're not seeing Chris Evans, you're going to see Captain America. Same thing for Tom Holland, you're going to see Spider-Man. It's because what matters more is the character than the individual.
crisis, movie attendance dipped, just a little, but enough to cause panic, and studios started noticing something interesting.
Well, of course, movie attendance dipped. It cost like $40. Last time I went to the movie by myself, mind you, I'm out here spending $35. Of course, movie attendance is going to dip. It's just unaffordable, and you can just pirate it on torrent. Not saying that I advertise that, but you can just pirate it and watch it at home.
The Twilight movies were still making a lot of money, and it wasn't because of Kristen Stewart or Robert Pattinson. Both were pretty unknown at the time. Same thing with Harry Potter. People were showing up for the story and the brand, something they already knew and loved. Something else also happened in 2008.
I am Iron Man.
Marvel Studios had an epiphany. They realized they could hire cheap, unknown actors who are easier to control, and audiences will still come because they love the IP, and thus, the modern blockbuster era was born. They could cast relatively unknown actors like Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans, pay them way less than established stars, lock them into multi-picture deals and rake in billions. Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon, put it perfectly.
The evolution of the business has gone to, like, there are no movie stars anymore. Like, Anthony Mackie isn't a movie star. The Falcon is a movie star.
The numbers back this up too. Leonardo DiCaprio movies have grossed over $7 billion across 23 movies where he was a lead character, while Chris Evans' movies made $11.4 billion in just 14 movies as a lead character or part of an ensemble cast. His Captain America trilogy alone made over $2 billion, nearly a third of DiCaprio's entire career total. But outside of Marvel, Evans has grossed only a little over $1 billion as a leading actor. So the math was clear. Franchises make more money than stars. So why would studios...
Also, from I think a labor perspective, but from a business perspective, it's a whole lot cheaper to have a superhero movie and, get some random, because the margin of acting, like getting Chris Evans compared to Leonardo DiCaprio, what you need from Captain America doesn't require a Leonardo DiCaprio performance. So you can get a Robert Downey Jr., you can get a Chris Evans, you can get a Tom Holland, you can get all these people because it's actually just a whole lot cheaper to just, and you just make way more money. Like you said, you just make it's like billions of dollars to just getting people that are kind of unknown, and then you're still paying them pretty well, but I think Leonardo DiCaprio definitely made more money, especially even if you adjust for inflation, throughout his career than probably a Chris Evans, even though Chris Evans is more profitable.
Keep paying star salaries. But it's not just the business model that changed. The whole vibe around celebrities shifted. Just 3 decades ago, movie stars felt mythical because you barely knew anything about them. You saw them in magazines, maybe caught them on a late-night talk show, watched them in movies, and that was it. There was this barrier, this distance, that made them seem almost otherworldly. But now, you can watch Austin Butler talk about bachelor parties on the subway on TikTok. You can see Channing Tatum talk about his time as a stripper at a park on TikTok. You know what your favourite actors ate for breakfast, what their political opinions are, what their dating life looks like, what their Letterboxd top 4 is. Nicolas Cage actually talked about this. He deliberately limits his social media presence because, as he put it, we've lost all mystery, and frankly, I think it's boring.
I am not on any social media. It's antithetical to my beliefs.
When you can message your favorite actor anytime you want, when you see them as ordinary people just like you are, the magic disappears.
Wait, did we just see some AI? Yo, that was AI. Oh my gosh, yo, that was funny. That looked like AI. Yo, tell me why they're showing me AI. Yo, AI has been popping up a lot recently, though.
And they're not so special anymore. They're just people with really good publicists, and it's not like social media just made existing stars more accessible. It created an entirely new category of fame. Now we have celebrities who are famous for existing online. Emma Chamberlain owns a mansion from being good at social media and speaking her mind on YouTube. Streamers have large fan bases after posting a few viral clips on TikTok. Mr. Beast is one of the most recognized people on the planet, and he's never been in a movie. The word celebrity used to mean movie stars and musicians. Now it's been completely watered down. When anyone with a phone and internet connection can potentially become famous overnight.
Was she about to just start twerking? Anyways, it's interesting though how it almost is like as if they're implying they don't have talent, which let me tell you something about these social media people. They got talent. They're doing 3, 10, 5, 10 things behind the background that you don't even know what they're doing. When you see an iShow Speed, trust me, don't look at what he's doing. Look at the background. Look at the top right. Even Kai Cenat does the same exact thing. The sub count. It's very psychological and very subtle. So even though fame has changed, trust me, if anybody could just post a YouTube video and get 1 billion views, then we all would be, YouTube famous, TikTok famous. But they got skill too. It's just a completely different set of skills.
Traditional movie stardom seems almost ancient by comparison. And then streaming services showed up and made it worse. Streaming platforms don't need stars the way movie studios used to. Sure, they'll hire Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon for one of their shows, or get Ben Affleck and Matt Damon to do a movie to get some initial sign-ups. But once you're subscribed, they don't care what you watch. You're already paying the monthly fee. Streaming completely changed the economics of fame. Studios used to know exactly how much a star was worth, based on how many tickets they sold. Now everything's measured in vague metrics like social media mentions and viewer retention rates.
I'm talking to them about how I'm going to delete my Instagram, and they're like, just so you know, when I'm casting a movie with some producers, they hand me a sheet with the amount of collective followers I have to get of the cast that I cast. So if you delete your Instagram and I lose those followers, understand that these are the kinds of people that I need to cast around you.
Streaming has also made it nearly impossible for new stars to break through. There is so much content spread out across so many platforms that it makes it nearly impossible for any actor to stand out. There's no shared cultural moment anymore. Besides Stranger Things or Squid Games, we're all just watching our own thing. Now, I'm not saying movie stars are completely gone.
Wow, I didn't even know that there's a social media quota. But yeah, it kind of we're focusing so much of the business of things that we're kind of losing the art, in my opinion, because I like watching movies. I actually really enjoy watching movies. But I like it to feel like I'm watching a movie, not that I'm watching some character with an actor behind. I don't want some kind of, avatar. I want some actual person.
Because in 2023, a study was done by asking audiences which actors they'd actually pay to see in theatres. 19 out of the top 20 were over 40 years old. The median age was 58. Seems like the only people who still have genuine movie star power are people who became famous in the 90s or earlier. Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Adam Sandler, Sandra Bullock, Denzel Washington. These are the last movie stars, and they're all old enough to remember a time before smartphones. Hollywood basically failed to produce a new generation of stars in the last decade. Sure, we've got some talented actors like Timothée Chalamet, Jennifer Lawrence, Florence Pugh, but none of them have that special quality that makes everybody show up to a theatre just because they're in it. Even Jennifer Lawrence, who was destined for megastardom after winning an Oscar at 22, hit a rough patch after Red Sparrow, Mother, and Passengers all underperformed. The Hollywood Reporter literally published a piece asking, if Jennifer Lawrence can't open a movie, who can? And the answer apparently is nobody under 50. That's why Chalamet stood out the most out of other young actors. He never had the star power of Leonardo DiCaprio, but it felt like he was on his way. He chose movies like Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird and Beautiful Boy, very grounded stories that gave him credibility, but even he couldn't escape the IP machine forever. Now he's playing Willy Wonka and Paul Atreides, characters other actors have already played. With the death of movie stars becoming more permanent, I'm not really sure if that's a bad thing. I'm not losing sleep over the fact that millionaire actors have less power and make less money than they used to. And it's not like these big superhero movies are bad movies. Batman is one of the biggest IPs ever and has one of the most respected trilogies of all time, as well as the Spider-Verse franchise once the third movie hits theatres. And if you would rather watch real people in real life instead of actors on a screen, then that's your choice. At least that's my take on the situation.
Man, this was a good video. Yeah. You know, this kind of is just like my other thing about like why don't movies feel human anymore? It's like why don't movie stars exist? Why are movies not filled with individuals? Don't get me wrong, I love a good ensemble. I really do enjoy a good ensemble. But it does feel like a sense of art is lost, you know? Once you know how the sausage gets made, once you know these things, it's not as special. And I don't know what my generation, Gen Z, millennials, and then, in the next 5 to 10 years, Gen Alpha, I don't know how we're going to navigate this entertainment landscape as Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise, because these people are like in their 60s now. Like we can't have 60-year-old men out here, you know, trying to save the day. Let be for a 19-year-old or something, or a 24-year-old. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. It actually kind of makes me sad because I miss cultural moments. You know, Timothée Chalamet was in Marty Supreme, and none of us, you know, like, did people watch Marty Supreme? I knew some people that watched Marty Supreme, but it wasn't like it was, you know, it wasn't this big cultural movement. If anything, like, even watching this video, I remember Mr. Beast seeing someone on fire. I remember that a whole lot more than all the other actors. Because that's kind of just the culture and the media I consume is on social media. It's not these big spectacles. It's kind of like, I don't know, don't get me wrong, people are still making a lot of money, but it's just, the fun is just not there. Or maybe it's just me. Thanks for watching it. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. If you like, please like and subscribe. My social should be linked down below at the end of this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.